Thanks to our magnificent brains, most of us live out our lives under the delusion that we are in control. But are our brains truly in control? Makes you think, doesn't it? Engrossed in the thrilling cinematic exploits of their ancestors, the freelance police have had no time to ponder these eternally vexing questions. But in mere moments, they and you will be plunged headfirst into these murky philosophical depths when Sam returns from his ill-timed bathroom break to discover they stole Max's brain.
Max? Little buddy? No, 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 no! No!
What happened?
Hey! What happened to Max? Talk!
We don't know!
1 second we were guarding the devil's toy box.
Then bam! Out went the lights!
Through a fog of rage, darkness, and raisinets, I tried to remember what Flint Paper told me about interrogating suspects.
Rule number one, don't let the suspect control the conversation. Get him talking, then surprise him. Interrupt him with a question, or call him a liar, freak him out. And if all else fails, bring little Miss Persuasion out for a stroll.
Actually, I think it was more of a boom, really.
Really? Because I distinctly heard it more like a bam.
Anyway, someone knocked us out with a booming and/or bamming sound, and,
Well, that's the last thing we remember until you woke us up and started snarling at us.
yeah, that's the last thing we remember.
Rule number two, timing is everything. When you hear the suspect lying, that's when you jump in and accuse him.
Yup, I was totally unconscious the whole time. I certainly didn't see anything interesting, no sir.
Liar!
All right. I came to before Jebediah, just in time to hear the telltale sounds of a brain being removed from a bunny.
Obadiah, why didn't you do anything?
I was afraid that he'd remove my brain too.
Who? Who took Max's brain?
It was the space gorilla.
Skunk Ape.
Of course. He must have been released from the penal zone when the toy box was stolen.
I'm so sorry.
Not half as sorry as that brain-stealing space ape's gonna be when I catch up with him.
Rule number three, mole men are easy. To crack the tough nuts, you'll need information to prove your case. Sometimes you gotta ask around to get the dirt on the doers. Now, go get 'em.
I wrote a mental note to thank Flint at Max's funeral and got ready to squeeze some punks. General Skunk Ape. I should have known. That space ape had wanted Max's brain ever since he found out it was special. Now that special brain was gone, and I was cut loose, drifting in the neon current, hoping for a lucky break. Hello, ugly. You're one of Skunk Ape's goons. Where's your boss? What did he do to my little buddy?
I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk Ape since you unjustly imprisoned him in the penal zone. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the dimensional boundaries. Anyhow. Are you trying to threaten me with that?
Maybe.
You are aware that my ultra-dense space gorilla hide renders me impervious to your puny Earth bullets, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Where were we?
Since Skunk Copy's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating my life choices. I've abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner. It's a very fulfilling, low-temperature job, more suited to a space ape of a certain age. But enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this glory.
Rats? The whole world's full of rats. All of them clawing each other's eyes out to get off this sinking ship called life.
That's quite disturbing and sad. Please stop.
I won't stop until I get the guy who did this to my little buddy! But where's Skunk Ape?
I already told you. I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk Copy since you unjustly imprisoned him in the penal zone. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the dimension.
You're lying!
No, I'm not. I haven't seen the General, and I defy anyone to say otherwise.
Go on.
As I was saying, since Skunk Copy's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating my life choices. I've abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner. It's a very fulfilling, low-temperature job, more suited to a space ape of a certain age. But enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this gloriously filthy metropolis.
You lie! There is no rat!
Excuse me, have you seen this city? There's rats everywhere.
But where's Skunk Ape?
I already told you. I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk Copy. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across.
Then what?
Since Skunk Copy's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating. I've abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner. It's a very fulfilling, low-temperature job. Are you trying to threaten me with that?
Maybe.
You are aware that my...
Oh yeah, I forgot. Where were we?
But enough about me. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this gloriously...
Rat? What rat?
Frankie the rat. He traffics in stolen merchandise and tawdry gambling rings.
Where can I find him?
He hangs out on the corner of Veni and Vidi in the Latin Quarter.
Frankie the Rat. The name left a bad taste on my tongue and an itchy sensation in my boxers. Still, there wasn't a rodent more plugged into the bad wiring in the city. Hey, Rat.
Sam, buddy, how's it hanging?
My partner's got a bad case of a missing brain, and someone thinks you might know something about it.
Brain, huh? Well, I did see something unusual and brain-related a little while back.
Spill!
I was given directions to a confused tourist. Poor fellow was wandering around in circles, scaring all the kiddies with his umlauts and Hey, man, no need to pull out the heavy metal. I'm talking, see? So, like I was saying, I was almost done helping the guy, see? When bam! All of a sudden, this space ape comes barreling down the street, fighting with some other mook. A space ape carrying a brain!
Skunk Ape.
I hadn't seen anything that weird since Aunt Jacqueline's vacations.
You lying, dirty rat!
No, really, it was a space ape and some dweeb in a goofy hat. Anyway, so I grabbed the tourist, and we ducked behind a bunch of crates with the other gorilla. We kept our heads down until the fight moved on down the street. And that's all I know about the space ape what took your buddy's brain.
You lie!
Hey, Sam, I never lie about my cowardice. I'm really proud of it. So now what?
One more time. What do you know about my partner's brain? It's like I was telling you. I was giving directions to a confused tourist. Poor fella was wandering around in circles, scaring all the kiddies with his umlauts and tvori. Where? Hey, take it easy, big fella. I sent him right over that way, about 2 miles. Frankie the Rat helping a tourist? It was absurd. Absurd like Max was, back when he had a brain. So imagine my surprise when I found Frankie's tourist wandering around the bad side of town.
Oh! Ah!
You, foreign guy, what's your story?
Ooh, an American police shakedown! How thrilling!
Yeah, it's a real honor. Now, what do you know?
Well, about an hour ago, I was getting directions to the museum district from one of your colorful local rats.
And Frankie sent you here?
Yeah.
That dirty lion rat.
You know, back in Europe, I had so many warnings about your country's rats, but this Frankie was so gracious and...
Another lost soul on the highway of life, forced to get directions from the rats at their feet.
Excuse me? I'm afraid I don't understand your gritty American metaphors and allusions. Ausgewählt? I was about to give him a tip for the help when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your Asphalt-fjords. At least I think it was a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg. It might have been more of an Ödeler Spuckenfreundl affair. But I digress. After the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ibble-skibbled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. You know what else? I'm starting to think that this isn't actually the museum district. Maybe I am mistaking the friendly rat's directions.
Let's hear your sad little story again, from the top.
Very well. About an hour ago, I was getting directions to the museum district from one of your colorful local rats. You know, back in Europe, I had so many warnings about your country's rats, but this Frankie was so gracious and helpful. Anyhow, I was about to give him a tip for the help when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your Asphalt-fjords. At least I think it was a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg. It might have been more... Is that one of your famous American handguns? Fascinating! We don't have any of these in Europe, you know? After the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ibble-skibbled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. You know what else? I'm starting to think that this isn't...
Liar!
Moi? Lie? How dare you make such an accusation without a shred of proof? When I get back to the hotel, I will report you to the European consulate at once.
Fine.
Fine. Now, where was I? Oh, yes.
Let's hear your sad little story again, from the top.
Very well. About an hour ago, I was getting directions to the museum district from one of your colorful local rats. You know, back in Europe, I had so many warnings about your country's rats.
Museum district?
See, yeah. As a child in Europe, I always dreamt of visiting your city's famous museum district with its Institute of Incomplete Technologies and Hall of Filthy Arts. It's a little more underwhelming than it appeared in my schulbooks. Anyflugen, I was about to give him a tip for the help when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your Asphalt-fjords. At least I think it was a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg. Might have...
Ultra super colored what now?
A Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg. My people's word for a stunning battle between a strangely garbed man and an alien space gorilla carrying a brain in a jar. So, where was I? Oh, yes! After the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ibble-skibbled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. You know what else? I'm starting to think that this isn't...
What?
Ibble-skibbled! It's a common European word that describes the feeling of mild disorientation combined with nagging doubts about a rat. Honestly, what do they teach you Americans in your schools?
Video poker!
So, what else would you like to know? People in this country are so intense!
The tourists seemed like just another victim circling the drain, but I knew there was more to the story. It was time to circle back and flush out the truth.
Frankie, what do you know? I was given directions to a confused tourist.
To the museum district?
Yeah, poor fella was wandering around in circles, scaring all the kiddies with his umlauts and tvortisnags.
Don't lie to me, Frankie. I talked to your tourist, and it looks to me like you sent him over to the wrong side of town to get rolled by your rat pack.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but this conversation is over. I ain't saying nothing till I get some legal representation. The nerve of some people, trampling a rat's God-given merengue rights. There ought to be a law or something.
Talk!
Are you deaf or something? I ain't talking without a lawyer, and you can't make me. I'm pleading the 5th, maybe even the 6th. Whatever it is, I'm pleading it. And no...
Do you want a lawyer? Here's an attorney from Smith & Wesson.
Okay, I'll talk. Sheesh. Like you guessed, I gave the tourist directions to the bad side of town, but I was just winding them up, really. Hey, ask me, the schmuck deserved it. Acting all high and mighty and you... What? You know, the bad side of town. Hoboville, Flemberg, Broken Corners, that area. Anyway, when the big fight broke out, me, the tourist, and the other gorilla ducked down behind the crate, and I, picked their pockets. The tourist was loaded with high-exchange European stuff, but all the other guy had was funny-looking green cubes. After the fight moved on, the tourist got a nice souvenir for his trouble, and I skedaddled back here. And that's all I know, honest. Ask anybody. They'll vouch.
Souvenir?
Yeah, something fell out of the funny hat guy's pocket, and the tourist scooped it up.
What was it?
I don't know, something.
So the tourist didn't leave empty-handed after all.
So what now?
Stick around. I may be back.
I shall count the minutes.
Ooh, a repeat performance.
Let's run through it one more time. And speak slowly. I'm an American.
As I said before, about an hour ago, I was getting directions to the museum district from one of your colorful local rats. You know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your country's rats, but this Frankie was so gracious and helpful.
Hurry it up.
I was about to give him a tip for the help when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your asphalt fjords. At least I think it was a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg.
Liar!
Nein, it really was a Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg, but more like a kleine Weltraumliebe Wachzauberkrieg. But anyway, after the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ibble-skibbled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. You know what else? I'm starting to...
Don't play innocent with me, metric lover. The rat saw you pick up something after the fight. Now spill!
Yeah, it's true. I took a souvenir from the fight. I didn't think anyone would notice. Here.
Norrington? Who the heck is Norrington?
I don't know. Just don't hurt me. You Americans are all animals. Animals.
Finally, a clue. Norrington. The name rang fewer bells than a sleigh in July. Fortunately, it didn't need to. Crimetron, do your stuff. What do you mean not found in database?
The Crimetron requires additional clues to make an informed deduction.
Clues? I haven't got time for clues. Max's body is starting to smell differently.
Then maybe you should stop yelling at my girlfriend and start with the clue-finding.
Grrr. I'm back. Now where's Skunk Ape?
I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunkapi since you unjustly imprisoned him in the penal zone. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the dimensional...
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember when you and your partner defeated my leader, the magnificent General Skunkapi, by trapping him in the penal zone?
Oh yeah, that. So?
As I was saying, since Skunkapi's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating my life choices. I've abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner. It's a very fulfilling, low-temperature job, more suited to a space ape of a certain...
Hurry it up!
But enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this...
Rat? What rat?
Frankie the rat. He traffics in stolen merchandise and tawdry gambling rings.
Where can I find him?
He hangs out on the corner of Veni and Vidi in the Latin Quarter.
But where's Skunk Ape?
I already told you. I don't know. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the dimensional boundary.
You're lying!
No, I'm not. I haven't seen the General, and I defy anyone to say otherwise.
Go on.
As I was saying, since Skunkapi's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating my life choices. I've abandoned violence for a career as a scientist.
Reevaluating your life choices? What does that even mean?
Skunkapi's defeat made me take a really hard look at myself. Honestly, is there anything more pathetic than a middle-aged space gorilla waving his blaster around the galaxy like some kind of teenager?
How about a dead partner?
The only way to break the cycle was to just walk away. Now I have a wonderful job as a sign spinner and a girlfriend in the village, and I don't even have to shoot anyone.
How nice for you.
Enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems...
Rats? The whole world's full of rats. All of them clawing each other's eyes out to get off this sinking ship called life.
That's quite disturbing and sad. Please stop.
I won't stop until I get the guy who did this to my little buddy! But where's Skunk Ape?
I already told you. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the...
What happened next?
Since Skunkapi's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating my life choices. I've abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner. It's a very fulfilling, low-temp...
You lie!
No, it's true! I've abandoned a life of violence and conquest for an honest, peaceful job as a sign spinner. See?
Ah, yes. So, where were we?
Enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this gloriously filthy metropolis.
But where's Skunk Ape?
I already told you. I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunkapi since you unjustly imprisoned him. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across...
Unjustly? Don't make me chortle. When you get right down to it, we all deserve to get tossed into the penal zone. You, me, the guy who delivers your deep dish pizzas, all of us, bubbling over with sin and corruption and...
Is there a point to this, or are you just trying to get me depressed?
Sorry, just thinking out loud. Where were we?
As I was saying, since Skunkapi's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating. I've abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner. It's a very...
You can't reevaluate your way out of fate, chump. We're all headed for a pine box and a boilerplate eulogy. And you can't change that any more than a tiger can change his pants.
You possess a very depressing worldview.
It comes with the territory when someone cuts out your partner's brain.
Enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this glory. Hey, don't you want to know about our baby iguana sale?
I'm back! Now where's Skunk Ape?
I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk Copy since you unjustly I'll never forget his final terrified howl as
You're lying!
No, I'm not. I haven't seen the General and
Go on.
as I was sent Skunk abandoned violence for a career as a scientist.
Reevaluating your life choices? What does that even mean?
Skunk Copies honestly.
How about a dead partner?
The only way to break the cycle was to just walk away. Now I have a wonderful job as a sign spinner and a girlfriend in the village, and I don't even have to shoot anyone.
How nice for you.
But enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this.
Rats? The whole world's full of rats. All of them clawing each other's eyes out to get off this.
That
I won't. But where's Skunk Ape?
I already told you. I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk Copy since you unjustly. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the dimension.
You're lying!
No,
Go on.
as I sent Skunk abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner. It's a very fulfilling low temperature. Could you stop waving around your ineffectual earth weapon? It's very distracting.
I can't help it. I'm a dog on the edge.
As I was saying, enough about me. You should, yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of this gloriously filthy metropolis.
You lie! There is no rat!
Excuse me.
But where's Skunk Ape?
I already told. I don't know. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it
Hurry it up!
sent Skunk Copy abandoned violence for a career as a sign spinner.
Then what?
Enough about me. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the.
You lie! There is no rat! But where's Skunk Ape?
I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the dimensional boundary.
Ah! I'm back! Now where's Skunk Ape?
I don't know. I haven't seen I'll never forget his final terrified howl as.
Ah! I wasn't going back there. Not for all the bums on Broadway. The tourist would have to find his own way back to Europe. Frankie, what do you know?
Like you guessed, I gave the tourist directions to the bad. Hey, ask me, the schmuck deserved it. Acting all high.
You're lying! No, wait, you're not. Keep going.
Anyway, when the big fight broke out, me, the tourist, and the other gorilla ducked down behind the crate, and I, picked their pockets. The tourist was loaded with high-exchange European stuff, but all the other guy had was funny-looking... Yipes! Stop doing that! It ain't good for my angina. Anyway, after the fight moved on, the tourist got a nice souvenir for his trouble, and I ski... And that's all I know, honest. Ask anybody. They'll vouch for old... Liar! No, honest, I came right back here, and then you showed up and started slapping me around. So now what?
Once more, with feeling.
If you insist, like you guessed, hey, ask me, the schmuck deserved it, acting all high and mighty. Again with the gun, look, I'm talking, ain't I?
I guess.
Anyway, when the big fight broke out, me, the tourist, and the other gorilla ducked down behind the crate, and I, picked their pockets. The tourist was loaded with high-exchange Europe...
Other gorilla? What other gorilla?
Believe it or not, it was another space ape. He was spinning a sign for some pet store, the poor schlub.
So the dirty punk sign spinner did see Skunk Ape.
Anyway, after the fight moved on, the tourist got a nice souvenir for his trouble, and I skedaddled back here. And that's all I know, honest. Ask anybody. They'll vouch for old Frankie, if they know what's good for him, that is. I don't mean to criticize, Sam, but the gun thing just ain't as intimidating when you keep pulling it out like that. So now what?
Back! Now where's Skunk Ape?
I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk Copy since you unjustly imprisoned him in the penal zone. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed across the dimensional boundary.
That story ain't gonna wash, Bonzo. Your pal Frankie told me all about how you and he hid from a fight between Skunk Ape and some other guy. Now make with the lip flapping and I better like what I hear.
It's true. A few of your Earth minutes ago, I was spinning my sign for Frankie the Rat and a tourist when General Skunkape came running down the street, chasing after a strangely garbed man. To my everlasting shame, I cowered behind a crate like a common...
Strangely garbed?
Yes, a man in a faded jacket and a strange hat. He seemed to be carrying a box of some sort. General Skunkape was in hot pursuit. After the general and the stranger fled the scene, I discovered that he had dropped this. I'm surprised he didn't come back for it, but he appeared to be in something of a hurry. Oh well.
Give me that toy!
No! I need it to get back in General Skunkape's good graces! Once I return this artifact to the General, he'll forgive my temporary abandonment of his goals and welcome me back to his crew with open arms. Oh, how I've come to miss standing at my General's side.
You're fooling yourself, kid.
What are you talking about?
The only thing Skunk Ape's gonna welcome you with is a fistful of phasers. You can't go home again. You can't even get on the porch. You've tasted the apple, peed in the pool, bitten the hand that rocks the cradle. You're a sign spinner to him now, and that's all you're ever gonna be.
You're right. It's hopeless. No matter what I do now, I'll never soar through the galaxy at my General's side ever again.
And I hate to tell you, but you're not a very good sign spinner either. I hated to see a grown gorilla cry, so I got in the car and looked for another lost soul to join me as I gazed into the abyss. The last time we saw the rhinoplasty toy, Max's special brain used it to turn into a bazooka. Now it was going to lead me to the guy who stole that special brain. It wasn't exactly ironic, but I didn't care. Okay, Crimetron, this is your last chance before I start looking for an upgrade. Come on, you obsolete hunk of junk. Talk! Where's Skunk Ape?
Sam, no!
Stop holding out on me!
Get away from her, you brute.
Finally.
Audiences across the country say, you're a monster, Sam.
What have you become?
The Museum of Mostly Natural History, the tarnished jewel of the city's once thriving museum district. Max and I always meant to visit, but we'd never gotten around to it. Now we were finally going to take in its thrilling and dubiously educational displays with a vengeance. All right, Skunk Ape, it's time to pay the piper, plus tax and applicable service fees. I should head upstairs where the action is. Hang tight, little buddy. It's a telltale trail of Grandpa Stinky's brain-preserving demon broth. Could Max's brain still be alive?
My superior technological might, necromancer!
Throw it down your simian hindquarters, barbarian!
Skunky and paperweight? He's looking pretty spry for a 120-year-old. And there's the Devil's Toy Box. And is that...
Sam! Get me out of here! This whole place smells like gorilla and patchouli.
The interloper who foiled my scheme to collect the toys of power and re-imprisoned me in the penal zone?
Sam? The great-grandson of the Vodthrone who put the kibosh on my intricate plan to unleash Yog-Sothoth and take over the world?
I hate that guy.
I hate that guy!
Yes, a common enemy. I propose an alliance.
You get the galaxy, I get the Earth?
Agreed!
Nice going, Bubble Brain.
Don't blame me. I'm still trying to find the volume controls on this thing.
Minions, after him!
Sam? Aw, man! Now I'm stuck in here with the alliance of C-list supervillains. It was way more fun when they were fighting. Look at all those cool psychic toys. Am I doing that?
Indeed, yes. Your psychic brain, melded to Monsieur Paperweight's sorcery and my super science, have created a techno-arcanic whirlpool, drawing the toys to this convenient container.
So that explains the giant sucking sound in my head.
No, that's just you.
Hey you, Fez guy! What is it?
You're a magical mumbo-jumbo guy, so maybe you can tell me. What's the deal with me having psychic powers all of a sudden? Am I going through the change?
It's difficult to say. The only minds on this plane capable of wielding the toys of power are the insane, the simple, or the defective.
Ah, you've been reading my press, kid.
But encountering two special brains in the same bloodline is practically unheard of. Your lineage is most peculiar and dangerous.
You should see us during holiday cookouts. What are you and Corporal Buttcheeks here doing with the Devil's Toy Box anyway?
We're unwinding and rewiring the synapses of your brain to cast a blasphemous net of tech necromancy across reality so that the toys of power may be properly encased within the Devil's Toy Box.
Ah, that's about what I thought.
Really? Repeat what I just said.
Blah, blah, blah. I've got a wonderful brain! Blargy, blargy. More toys for me! Pretty grubby joint you got here.
It's one of the finest collections in the world. Our Yog-Sothoth tapestry is one of a kind.
Gee, it'd be a shame if Skunk Ape's minions ripped your tapestry to shreds and used it for space towelettes. You know, accidentally.
Don't even think of such a thing.
How come you haven't aged a day since my great-grandpa kicked your demon-summoning butt back in the olden times?
The horrible secret of my apparent immortality is too terrible to comprehend, and would surely drive an uninitiated mind such as yours to the brink of madness were I to utter it.
So, Pilates then? What are you doing in this 2-bit museum anyway?
Since my defeat at the hands of your meddling ancestors, I've insinuated myself into the archaeological community, painstakingly gathering the requisite toys of power necessary to reopen a doorway between our world and the realm of Yog-Sothoth.
Nerd. Could you try and stop your new buddy from zapping Sam with a banana-shaped ray gun or whatever?
Why should I give a hellbeast's hangnail about the fate of Sameth's brood?
Well, let me get back to you on that. Why are you and that big dumb ape, Skunk Ape, working together?
General Skunkapi and I have had a meeting of minds over our mutual loathing of you, your partner, and your forefathers.
So that added up to what? 1 mind between you?
I just hope his brain-dead minions can dispose of your partner without injuring any of my employees.
All this talking with my brain is making me tired. Let's talk later. Hey, bad guys, how about a little light show? It's getting boring in here.
I'm afraid that tonight's performance of Mundane Objects in Space, a Cosmic Odyssey, has been cancelled, so that the Yeneler and I might use the projector to summon the scattered psychic toys from the 4 corners of the globe.
Aww. Hey, Skunk Ape!
Yes?
I see you've got your old band of lackeys back together.
Yes, yes. My mighty army is once again ready to take on the galaxy. At least they would be if Paperweight's filthy security guard wasn't underfoot. That disease-carrying insect had better keep his pestilent thorax away from my boys.
So, long time no see.
Long time? Yes, yes. If only you knew how long. It has been but a handful of Earth hours since you and your companion imprisoned me in the penal zone. However, due to the temporal phase shifting of the zone, I experienced years of maddening nothingness during those fleeting hours.
Ah, that would explain the tiny crow's feet around the eyes. Not to mention that telltale old gorilla smell. What are you doing here, anyway?
The same thing I was doing all those years ago.
Boring me to tears?
Gathering the toys of power so that I might conquer the galaxy.
Now that you and Fezhead have stopped fighting, could you tell me how my brain ended up outside my sexy little body?
I took it from you after I was suddenly ejected from the penal zone.
How come I didn't notice?
You appeared to be entranced by a primitive form of Earth entertainment.
Around here, we call it a popcorn coma, big guy. What are you two scamps doing with the Devil's Toy Box?
We're tapping the nigh-infinite power of your brain to create a bifurcated vortex of technological and arcane energies to impel the toys of power to return to their point of origin via a 5-dimensional matrix of quantum foam and sympathetic magics.
Yes, of course.
You have no idea what I just said, do you?
No, but if it means more psychic toys for me, then vortex away. What are you planning to do with my brain once this whole Toys for Jerks drive is over?
The same thing I planned to do before you yanked me into your ASAT's penal zone. Plug your brain into my ship's central computer and use your terrifying psychic powers to conquer the galaxy.
Couldn't we just use them to cruise for chicks? The ladies love a good spoon bending.
That's curious. My scans indicate you don't even like girls.
Could you try not to kill Sam? He's my designated driver whenever I'm in the sauce like this.
Oh, my minions won't kill him.
That's good.
They're under strict orders to drag him beaten and bloodied to my feet so that he might witness my ascension to ruler of the galaxy.
Just so long as he can still drive. Why are you working with that creepy paperweight guy?
Monsieur Paperweight and I have reached an accommodation.
Is that legally permitted in this state?
I'm lending my scientific prowess to his mystical efforts to draw the toys of power into the so-called Devil's Toy Box.
That spell thing Paperweight's working on. It wouldn't have something to do with summoning an elder god by the name of Yog-Sothoth, would it?
Now that you mention it, Yog-Sothoth's name did come up once or twice. He's certainly touchy about that precious tapestry of his.
Yeesh. Could you go over there for a while? The way you're salivating over my anterior cortex is creeping me out, frankly.
Very well.
Well, at least I know that Max's brain is still alive and kicking. I'll never get back in there while Skunk Ape and Paperweight are working together. Maybe I can break up those lovebirds from out here.